Hey everyone, it is late at night and I am Norman. So the theme for the next couple videos will be LCD watches. And if you caught my video previous to this one, you have an idea of why. I did my first impressions video of the Mixtape watches that I received from Farr and Swit. However, there's a couple other reasons why I need to be talking about LCD watches. And in this video, I'll let you know what that reason is. But first, let's talk about a couple of other interesting LCD watches. We're going to look at a total of 5 different models, and each one is very interesting in its own way. So let us begin. The first watch is a Nixon surf watch that I personally own. I've had this watch for years. If you haven't seen it in my State of the Collection videos, this is what it looks like. And the battery on this one is actually getting low because if I press the light button instead of the light turning on, the numbers get faded. So this watch is pretty interesting to change the battery on. Instead of lugs, there are little screws here, and they're double-headed screws, so you have to use 2 screwdrivers at the same time. It's not fun. And then you have to unscrew the case back. And I believe the first time I had to change a battery on these, one of the screws was Loctited in really well. But that'll be a project that I'll be doing in the upcoming weeks. And the next watch that I want to talk about actually showed up in my social media feeds as an ad. I've been getting some really interesting looking watches as ads in social media. Like, they don't look like garbage. Some are pretty unique and kind of cool. And this is one of them. It's by the brand that made the Cyber Driver watch that I still haven't reviewed because this display contrasts with the frame rate of my camera. At some point, I will put together a collage of shots of different screens on that and finally do a full review of this. But this is a super cool watch. The brand is BenlyDesign. And the watch that came through on my feed was the G100. And I think I've encountered this watch on their site in the past, because after getting the driver watch, I went through their whole catalog, but I kind of forgot about it. And when the ad came through and they had some video of the indices changing on it, which I'll track down and show in this video. Yeah, that's super cool. So yeah, when that came through, I was reminded of this watch again, and it looks really cool. The case on these is stainless steel. However, for their design and shape, they are a bit large at 38 millimeters wide, 13 millimeters in thickness. But in the pictures, they don't look too bad, so they might be okay size-wise. And I'm not sure what kind of crystal they have on them. It isn't mentioned at all in their stats, so I would guess acrylic or mineral. They're water resistant to 50 meters, and I just kind of like how they have their own look. I don't think I've seen any other pieces that look like these do. There may be some vintagey LCD watches that are similar, but I appreciate the uniqueness of the design. They cost about $100, but you do get a stainless steel case on them versus a silver painted resin, so I feel like that's not too terrible. And of course, the third one is the Mixtape watch. I'm not going to say a ton about this because I've already done a first impressions video. The link to that will be in the notes below, and I'll be doing a full review of it. But these watches are super cool. They're by Farr and Swit, and I'll put a link to these watches below as well, in case you're interested in them. These are very affordable pieces. I think I saw a review quoting them at $50, but when I looked it was even less than that. So yeah, I'm a huge fan of these watches. These are super cool. Now the last two watches that I want to discuss, there's a special reason why they're on this list. The first one is the D20 watch. This is a super nerdy watch. It's an LCD watch that does role-playing dice rolls. Yes. So this one also came through as an ad, and when I saw it and read some of the specs about what it can do, I ordered one. I think there was only 22 left, and this was a pre-order, so they aren't going to ship out till February. But yeah, I had to get one. I used to play D&D way back in high school, and recently started running a small campaign in my neighborhood, so I can totally wear this watch when we're playing. And apparently the watch was designed by a guy who does play, and actually tried the watch in his campaigns. So these watches can roll a single die of whatever denomination you want, so 4-sided, 6-sided, 10, 20, or it has a battle mode where you can roll up to 12 at once and just get the sum of all of those. And I think you can even do rolls at advantage and disadvantage, D100 rolls, just super cool. So when that arrives in February, I will be sharing it with you. But they're available in stainless steel or resin. I don't need the stainless steel, so I went with the much more affordable resin one, $50 cheaper. And Gizmodo did a great write-up of this watch, so I've linked that in the show notes below. So if there are other role-playing nerds out there, you can check it out there. The comments on it were not positive. However, pretty much all the ones that I read were just, it's too expensive, and I'll just stick with my actual dice, thank you. But I feel like it's not that expensive. I mean, it's more expensive than an F91W or similar watches that you might find at Walmart or at the mall. But it does some cool stuff, and it's kind of a novel piece, and I feel like $100 is reasonable. And I can't wait to see it when it ships in February. Now, the last watch that we're discussing, I'm talking about it because I got it for Christmas. This is the SKX mod with all of the options that I chose and sent my wife as a Christmas wish list item. Yes. So to end this video, we're gonna flip the camera around and go ahead and do a first impressions of this watch. Alright, so here's the configuration that I chose. And I've done a video discussing that when this was still just an idea before I decided to put it on a Christmas list. I really didn't think my wife would get this for me because she had to go through the site and pick all the different parts that I told her to. But she did. And interestingly, this watch showed up fully assembled. So I didn't get to pop everything together, which is fine. If it was one of those assemble your own mechanical watch, I would have been kind of sad about that. They did send all the tools still, and some extra gaskets and stuff, so that was pretty cool of them. I didn't expect to be hit with a whole bunch of LCDs all at once, so kind of surprised that I'll be doing so many videos on them, at least for the next week or so. But it was kind of the perfect storm with the D&D watch, Farr and Swit showing up, and this one, getting this for Christmas. So I went with the synth-wavy looking faceplate because I love me some synthwave. I did the stainless steel case, sapphire crystal, plain, ordinary case back, and the stainless steel bracelet, because I feel like these chrome LCD watches just look good with the bracelet on them. I feel like they're a little bit disjointed looking when they have a plastic strap on them, but that's just me. I know plenty of people out there love that look. I just find it looks more cohesive with a bracelet that matches the case. I was surprised though that the clasp is 100% mirrored as well. It makes sense, but man, this is going to be scratched up and show it far more than a brushed one. But I mean, the rest of it is 100% polished, so that choice makes perfect sense. It's fine. So far, this bracelet seems decent. I've worn this a few times. Yeah, it has vintage proportions, which is why this kind of intrigued me. Most of the modding pieces that are available to you are not so vintagey. Like, you could get some Explorer homage cases that are 36 millimeters, but they're a bit thick. And yeah, I thought this one would be fun. And I've always thought it would be cool to have one of these vintage LCD watches in super tough materials, as opposed to having acrylic crystals and resin cases, silver painted resin cases. I mean, I love the A700 that I own. Man, if you could mod one of these in stainless steel and sapphire, oh, that would be cool. With these proportions, look at how thin that is. Such a cool watch. And I know this thing will be fine for as long as I own it. It's not an everyday wear, so... But it's still kind of cool. The idea of having one of these with sapphire on it is pretty wild. So yeah, I'm pretty stoked about this piece. And after I spend more time with it, I'll do a full review. Before I let you go though, let's get some wrist shots. Let me take off my Bulova watch. So we're looking at kind of sci-fi futuristic pieces. I thought I would wear a different take on retro future stuff. A more vintagey watch in a different vein than LCD. Very cool. I love this watch. Let me take this off and we'll see what the SKX mod looks like when you're wearing it. Yeah, look at that. That is so cool. It absolutely just looks like a vintage Casio. We'll get some shots under the regular studio lights here. Yeah. Absolutely 1980s style. I like that faceplate. I think I chose correctly with that one. And since it's a mod, I think I can buy other plates and swap them out. That would be super fun. I'll have to go back on their website and get some more plates for this. But this one looks super cool. It's so cool that my wife got this for me. So there you have it. Some very interesting LCD watches. And the reason why the videos that I'm doing right now are LCD themed. Because I have a new one, 2 that were sent into the channel, 1 coming in February. So it's an LCD fest over here right now. So keep your eyes open for the other videos and the full reviews. Thanks for watching.